So, as part of the cycle, what we have seen earlier as in talent management, one element or the key element, what is called as succession planning, and it is strategic, systematic, and deliberate effort to develop competencies in potential leaders through proposed learning experience such as targeted rotations and educational training in order to fill higher level positions without favoritism. As said earlier, it can be elevating a person from one level to the next level, and if the level at which certain performance has been seen or experienced, and if the same sort of experience or a better performance is required, so it is very important that the person who is elevated to that next level carries the same responsibility and duties to ensure that the client is being served in the right way and in the right manner without any hiccups, and deliberate and systematic effort by an organization to ensure leadership continuity in key positions and encourage individual advancement. So that is what explained earlier. That means continuity in service. There should not be break in service which is or which was served by the earlier person who was holding that position. So that has to be replaced with a person with the same quality or better quality, but not a quality that is poorer. And a structured process involving the identification and preparation of potential success to assume a new role is of key importance. A structured process involving the identification and preparation of potential success to assume a new role. So, in traditional companies, mostly in banks, what they do, that too in nationalized banks, for elevating people to the next level, examinations are being conducted, and after examinations, they have the next level screening like a group discussion or an interview is being conducted, and they want to ensure that the person who is getting selected is equally having the quality that was with the previous employee who was holding that position. And after ensuring that, then only the person is being posted to that role. So it is happening for years together, and this practice seems to be really working out well as far as banks are concerned, the two from public sector. So what is succession planning? It is a constant change planning, an organizational journey, not a project, ensuring continuity of leadership, identifying gaps in existing talent pool, and identifying and nurturing future leaders. So constant change planning. So the individual as well as the organization as a whole should be in a position to accept change. That means they have to be prepared for the changes that is taking place from time to time. And most importantly, the technology is one factor which is associated with various factors in an industry, not only with the process but also with the recruitment and other factors that is associated with an organization, which is key element or elements for competing in the industry. Next, an organizational journey, not a project. So it is the part of organizational journey and not a project. So the organizational growth is one factor where it is depending all on all such factors. So succession planning is also one among that. And ensuring continuity of leadership, as discussed in our previous point. So ensuring continuity of leadership is that succession is one thing where a person exits or where the person leaves the organization either by way of retirement or by voluntary retirement or leaving for personal reasons. And if that role has to be filled, it has to be filled with a person equally qualified with equal skill sets, and if it is the person who has already left had the determination and a quality to serve better, the same thing is expected from the successor. So it is the duty or the responsibility of the management as well as the HR department to ensure that the person who is going to succeed or be a successor for that position should carry all these things. And it is always better to have a person with higher quality or higher level of knowledge and experience to hold that position will be of betterment rather than going for a unskilled person. And identifying gaps in existing talent pool. So that is another point where there is a gap in existing talent pool. It is the role of HR to ensure that that gap is getting narrowed or the gap is getting bridged. And identifying and nurturing future leaders. So again, the management as well as the HR department have equal role to play to mold people who are at the lower level, get molded and make them future leaders. So identifying them, it is not a big challenge, but at the same time how to mold them and bring them as future leaders, it is the sole responsibility of the functional managers or the heads. Because people who are good in work, sometimes they may not show interest towards moving to the next level, so they would like to continue in the same level doing the same job. But that awareness has to be brought and have to ensure that they have the interest to move to the next level and are also ready to take up the challenges or the responsibility to move to the next level. As there may be people not showing interest towards taking additional responsibility. So here the functional heads or the HR managers should be in a position to understand their expectations and try to mold them in such a manner so that they are able to move to the next level to become a future leader. And why SP is required? That means succession planning is required. So organizations supersede individuals. Visionaries are those who groom their young ones to take the lead position and to take the cause of organization forward. So there could be a different scene in the public sector to that of private sector. Normally in public sector, the promotion and this succession planning is done based on seniority and not based on the qualification one possesses or the skill set one possesses. The reason being, it is the standard practice that is followed in public sector from time to time, where they rely on the seniority level, though it can be argued that yes, seniority is mandatory, as they might have come across a lot of situations or areas where different problems might have been faced and they might have found a solution by their experience. But if a newcomer is trying to get into that role and if similar type of problems are going to be faced, mere educational qualification or the theoretical knowledge, will it help? So that will be a question put forward. And in the present scenario, most of the management schools or the institutions are able to provide training to the students on a on-the-job basis, where people are put into internship and they are expected to work for at least 6 months in an industry and try to identify the problems that are faced, and depending on the role what they are into, they have to learn things which is like a on-the-job training. And it may be questioned that whether that 6 months training is enough for people to move to higher level. But what this 6 months training will provide is, it is not that just they learn the process what they are going to do in the near future, but also the problems faced by the departments or the managers who are into that role, and what sort of solution has been provided, how they are able to solve the problem, and whether they consult with the subordinates or they take a decision on their own. So similar things will be discussed or will be ascertained by the internship people who are supposed to learn all these nuances and try to apply that in their role, either as an engineer or as a manager, as the case may be. So for that, so how this training and development is useful at the institution level or the management school level, so to mold them into future managers, and where experience may not be mandatory.